Recording is in progress. Good evening, y'all. It's Code Platoon. Evenings, weekends. This is Hotel Cohort 314, day 2 of Django. We're in the duh of crud. Create and delete. So far, our application has read and update capabilities for both moves and Pokemon. Let's get into the two methods that we will need in order to have full crud. If I send a post, a create, a post request, what kind of things, I want to send a Pokemon, what kind of things are going to be needed? What should that post request have? Art. Oh, sorry, you're about to put food in your mouth. My bad.
Yeah, and it's a dry cracker too, really dry cracker.
Oh, jeez. I I want to create something new. A Pokemon, perhaps. What do I need to send with my post request?
Hmm. Let me see.
I think I'm asking this very vaguely. Uh, I think I'll just say it this way. Possibly a body. For our particular app, we send a request to create a new Pokemon or a new move. Well, it can do that, but our endpoints need bodies. Much like an update, we're going to have to send some JSON to the application, um, giving it what it needs. It needs to have at least the bare minimum, all the required stuff to create that Pokemon's. If we don't send it everything it needs, I would expect my app to say, no, we're missing that. If I were to send extra stuff, maybe it doesn't know what to do with it, but that would be fine to me. Uh, I kind of like an API that's a little sturdy. Like if I added some extra stuff in my post, I kind of like it to spit back maybe nothing, or I don't know what that is, but I created your Pokemon. I hate it when they break, when they're like, I don't know what that field is. Um, maybe they don't need to run through the whole field. Maybe it's fine. Uh, Getting this started, and one thing I noticed about this lecture is end of day branch 8 already has all this code on it. I didn't add anything. Um, I do got it pulled up. We'll look at it. Um, when we create something, we are technically posting something new to our database. With that said, any type of create behavior should correlate with the post request method. Let's check it out. Pokemon app views and add this post behavior to our all Pokemon class. There we go. Does this make sense to post to the all Pokemon endpoint and not the selected Pokemon endpoint? This one versus this
Yeah,
one?
yes.
How come?
Well, because you're placing the Pokemon within the Pokemon class. Well, you're placing you're taking one Pokemon and putting it within the rest of the Pokemons. So, by doing it that way, you're um, you're essentially putting it within or instantiating a new Pokemon off of that class.
Okay, I agree with that. How come I can't just post it to this URL? What would my URL be if I want to create a new one?
Yeah,
Well, you just kind of said it. What I'm trying to
yeah,
pull out is I don't have an ID and I don't know what the IDs are, and I
right,
shouldn't know that,
right.
right? if I were to go post a new Pokemon and your app said, "Oh, what do you want the ID to be?" I would say, "I don't give a shit." Or I would put something random in there and try to break your app because that's ridiculous. Like y'all's assessment twos, where I had to input IDs sometimes. Um, some of y'all, not all of y'all, at least one or two of y'all. It's like, oh, you want to create a new movie or create a new user? What do you want the ID to be? I'm like, I don't care. You do it. I don't know what IDs there are. How should I know? Um, so posting to a random ID shouldn't work. We're going to post to the collective. Let's look at it. Here it is. That's just some Python. That ain't crazy. It's just a function, a class function. Who wants to take a stab at walking through what this is doing? Nicole.
So first you're uh assigning the new Pokemon variable, where you're requesting the data from well, you're creating it. So for the Pokemon objects, you're creating request data.
Huh? What's this?
That's the request.
Okay, that's the request that is received by this view, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So you're right. We're creating a Pokemon. What the hell is this?
Um, Wild card of some sort?
No.
Oh, the arguments. Quarks. How do you say it?
What's Quargs?
Um, I remember it, but I forget it at this moment. I
It
remember
is
we used it,
I can help you out, Nicole.
thank you.
It takes multiple arguments.
and does what with them?
It takes multiple arguments and it basically mm, it'll figure out what what how many arguments you have, and based off the amount of arguments it can take any number of arguments for that function, and then it parses each of those arguments. I don't know.
Good. Start. Here, look. This is what I'm gonna send here. This is what I'm gonna try and post to this endpoint. You know how when we create a class, uh, let's look at models. So here's Pokemon. If I wanted to, this is a Pokemon class. If I wanted to instantiate a Pokemon, I would do like Pokemon is equal to Pokemon, level equals 3, captured equals, true. We have to do all that to create a new Pokemon. Well, we're sending a body, this body. What it's going to do when we say create.
I got it now, Jordan.
Okay.
So it's so depending on the object, it will basically create, it'll go through it and it'll say, okay, well, was name added in here? Yes. So it'll go through the arguments based off of the order that they're presented in the class. So whatever arguments, as it's going through, it'll go through name, description, name, level, description, and so on and so forth. And it'll place those arguments where they're supposed to be, depending on what you've presented it with. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's saying your keyword is going to match up to my field, right? Whatever keyword you have, match that up to a field I've got.
Right.
That's all, y'all. This is an easy way to kind of open up your class so we don't have to be very specific. We could get around all this. If y'all don't like quarks, you ain't got to use them. Not really. You could do the pain of like, level is equal to request, something like data, probably something, no, like probably maybe data. And then we have to look at the request. We can break this apart, but it's going to be something like that. And we'll say, okay, the level is equal to the level. And now, captured from the request, we need to go in there and get kind of pseudocoding a little bit. We're going to go get that captured data. And then when we go to create new Pokemon, no problem. We're just going to have to say, level is equal to level, captured is equal to captured. That's all we're doing right here, right? I'm just saying these keywords that were added in the request, I need to map them to this Pokemon model. I could do it manually, or I could do it this way. Oh, it's request.date. I was close. So it would be like that. Probably. That's all we're doing. So use quarks, create a new Pokemon object using the model, save, full clean, should run all of our validation and everything, or all the stuff we've got. We're then going to load it into a JSON and then return a response. Is this part necessary?
Yes,
How come?
because the new Pokemon is not in computer readable format, I guess. Or maybe I got it backwards. But either way, as it stands, it needs to be parsed and converted into JSON in order for us to be able to get a readable format back in
But
the return.
I'm posting it. Who cares, right? Do I need a response?
Yes. Well, if you want to use it.
Great. It's nice to have, right? This is restful. This is saying, like, here's the thing. Let's just walk through this. I brought this down. I cloned this down. I spun up my database, as y'all can see. Let me go ahead and run this server. Running. Have y'all seen Insomniac? Sorry, Insomnia. Have y'all seen Postman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. If you think Postman is silly and has too many options, go give Insomnia a look. This is what I'm going to use. I'm not trying to screw y'all up by showing you something that the other instructors don't teach. Postman's fine. I like Postman. Just I feel like for a lot of the stuff we're doing in this class, a simpler one's easier. I like Insomnia. It looks like VS Code. Ain't it cool and clean? If I wanted to create a new post request, I would, once I got created my little environment here, I just add a new HTTP request, like I done did. It would do this. I paste the endpoint I want, right? I paste it, and then I can set this to any kind of request type. We want this to be a post. I paste the body here, this JSON body. If I were to copy paste this over directly, it's going to get a little mad at me. It's going to say, "Whoa, what the heck? I can't parse that." Well, that's because, I mean, hell, even our README doesn't like that. It's red. That's valid JavaScript. That is not valid JSON. So our notes here aren't very good, and that's all this is telling me. You can't have comments in JSON. It looks like a JavaScript object, but it ain't. All right, so to this endpoint, This is just our all Pokemon endpoint. API V1 Pokemon. Does that make sense to me? Let's go to our top level project. URLs. Cool. These are all my URL endpoints. API V1 Pokemon. Cool. That seems valid. Let's go to the Pokemon app. URLs. If we just end there, we're going to all Pokemon, and that's where we want to go. Looking at my URL. API, V1, Pokemon. This should go. Let's fire it off. Sent. Oh no! Level's not defined. Did I jack up my code? Sure did, y'all. Everyone else futzing around. Let's try that again. Send it again. There we go. Like Cisco said, we have a response here. This is my body. This is a list of my calls. This is the response. I can see my headers. I can see my cookies. I can see some stupid tests I don't have set up. But this is what it gives us back. You could, and I'm just showing y'all this so we're all on the same dadgum page. I could probably do something like, okay, I did it. Oh, okay. It wants a class string. That should be on. Y'all. All right, that worked. The reason we do this, we create the Pokemon model, we save it to the database, run the clean, whatever. That's not absolutely necessary. That's just covering our bases, but we may as well because we do have validation stuff. But this is just nice. This is a nice expected thing. Your app could say, I did it, and that's like, all right, cool beans. The reason we're doing this, and I love setting up kind of trick questions, which I shouldn't do because people have gotten on to other instructors for this, but I think it's fun. I just want y'all to know what the purpose of this is. We don't have to do these steps here. This step is verifying validation, or sorry, verifying that everything's valid. This step is getting that new Pokemon that we did create only for the purpose of responding right here. That's its only purpose. So that when I create a new Pokemon, response is right here, tells me what it is, looks good. Is that what I expect? Yeah, I can see it all. It tells me the new primary key. That's always a good sign. Oh, this is iterating, by the way. Look, new one is 8. And it kind of puts in all those extra fields that we don't even know about, right? I'm curious of what happens here. Is it going to break? Yeah, okay. So there are ways to get around that. I'm not going to dive into that right now. But we can make our endpoints sturdier than that. Any questions about any of this? I'm kind of beating the dead horse, but I want to make sure we do understand the path here. No questions. Then it should be easy for Adam to explain this for us. Adam, I'm sending a post request to this URL. How did it create a Pokemon on my app? Let's just follow the flow. So this is a post request. I clicked send. It sent some junk and the word post to this URL. Why does this work?
I couldn't tell you. I'm trying to follow along here as best as I can,
All
but
right,
I'm sure.
we're gonna do it together. Where's this endpoint? Why does this URL work? What is this endpoint here? Where's that in my app?
Uh, isn't that in your views?
Hell no, this isn't a view, it's a URL.
Oh, it's in your URLs, yeah.
I have in my application 4 urls.py files. Which one is it in?
Uh, in the Pokemon app?
I just see an empty URL here. Or an ID. Where's this API v1 Pokemon coming from?
That one's coming from the main project URL, is it not? That's what the path is directing it from.
How do I know which one's my main project?
Pokédex project, I think it was for this.
Yes, underscore project. That's the main project. So check these URLs. Adam, does this look familiar?
Yeah, I think that's the same one.
It is. So I am running, just verify. I started up my Python server. HTTP 127.0.0.1 8000. That's saying home, more or less. That is localhost. Hey, there it is again. HTTP 127.0.0.1 8000. So that gets us that far. The main project URLs page, which handles all, oops, I was on it and I got off it, which handles all the directions to the different applications, has a list of paths here. If I wanted to go to the Moves app, I would go to /moves. If I wanted to go to the Pokeballs app, I'd go to /Pokeballs. But we're going to Pokemon app. That, by virtue of this line right here, include is going to be the Pokemon app.urls. So here's the rest of my URL. Paste it here. We go to that Pokemon's app, urls.py. We've got two options. One is path nothing, which is what I did. There's nothing after this, right? I don't have, this here. I've got nothing. So because I've done nothing, because I've gone to Pokemon, it's going to use the all Pokemon view. Within Pokemon app views, I've got two views here, all Pokemon and selected. I've got a get and I've got a post. How does my request, or how does it know which one to use of these two functions? So we hit the URL, great. We got to the right app, great. We went to the views file, great. We even got to the right view, all Pokemon, but this one's got a get and a post. How do I tell my app which of these requests I want?
By definition of setting those functions within the all views or all Pokemon, it using the API view, it instinctively knows how to direct or get the application to do what you want it to do.
Instinctively, based off of what?
Because
What did I send it?
well, so the API view, it's for the Django, it's automatic. Well, it's set up to when you define post or get, it knows that you're trying to create a get request or a post request using the HTTP method.
What kind of request did I send?
Well, scroll down. So I'm just saying the function itself. So within
Yeah.
that, by defining that post, simply because you use post,
Yes. That's it.
it,
That's what I want.
yes,
I
it
sent a
knows.
post. I sent a post request.
Hmm.
The pieces of this that are important, the URL, the request, and the body. I said, hey, I want to send you something. I want to post. I want to create a new thing. Build it with this.
Right.
If I were to change this, probably get a completely different response. Doesn't really matter that my body is here. It's not doing anything with the body. But since it's a post, it's going to try and create a new Pokemon. What's up, Art?
So the URL is identical in a get or a post. So that doesn't give us any indication. But within Django, it says, okay, you want to do a post. Let me look through your file and see if you have a post function in there. And I'll use that one. Is that how it's
Yes.
working?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is design choice, right? This is restful. I expect if I have a collective, I should be able to post to that collective and it should give me them all. If I wanted to, or sorry, it should create a new one. If I wanted to get all of the collective, I should say get to the collective and get them all. We could do it dumb. We could do something else. We don't have to, do that. We could do something as like ridiculous as like create Pokemon. Uh, and then we could go make a function that when you hit the URL, create Pokemon. It would just create a Pokemon. We could send an API request here, but that's just not very restful. But you could do that. We're just trying to get everything lined up on the same URL. And then based off of the request type, it knows what to do. The request method. We could create a weird custom one if we wanted, but these are what we should be using.
And if you so it really helps to see it as well when you go into the Django admin panel and well, not even the admin panel, but when you go to that endpoint in Django, you'll see the post pop up there. If you got post, delete, or whatever function you create for it, it'll actually add um, the post, put, delete. It'll add that functionality to your UI.
It will. You can rely upon that. Is this the right command? I ain't done this in so long. Uh,
Yeah, you got it.
yes, do it anyways. So,
Squid Games.
love it. Cool. So I can see here. Look at all these. I created them. It's got it's even got old Metal Green. I haven't deleted that database. Uh, I could add a new Pokemon here. You can show me what I need. This can be very helpful. It's got some defaults in here, not necessary. Um, but we kind of get around what I want to talk about, which is the request methods. Um, all a request method is, and I don't think we talk about it in depth enough, or we just don't explain it at a level. I want to talk to you all again. Y'all remember our friend Curl?
Mm-hmm.
Curl naturally default does get, but I could, is that the right command? I think it's like this. I could give it that and then fill out all of this silly data here. And that would be the exact same thing.
Oh, Jordan, could you go to your endpoint on the Django instead of the admin window?
I sure can.
I wanted them to see that for the all Pokemon or
I wish this was clickable. Would that be sweet?
so see there's your get and then go scroll down and you'll see the post at the bottom.
Yeah.
So you can add the JSON there in that content field as well.
Oh, same dang thing.
Yeah.
They did it.
Yeah.
All right. We could create a test. This test is here. That's fine and dandy. It does work. We look through the last post to see if the geodude is the geodude we created. These tests are good, but I'm more interested that y'all can walk through what had happened. Spend a lot of time on post. Delete is much more simple. Let's take a look at delete. So this is not going to be in the all Pokemon. This is going to be in selected Pokemon. Yes, Art.
If I understood Cisco correctly, if you were to go into the admin file and delete a Pokemon, would it create this delete function for you?
No.
Okay, because if like, let's say you didn't have, um, let me say, if you didn't have a function to like say, if you didn't have get, but well, no, you'd have to have get, but like, let's say you didn't have a put, but if you created something in admin, I thought I understood that it would just like it creates a character when you put it in admin it creates it in your file. I thought maybe if you were to like if it would also create like these get and push and delete stuff as well.
I believe you'll still be able to make edits here. If we didn't have a put request and you're doing it via the admin, you could perform actions you haven't yet created views for, because it's not really paying attention to the views. It's not talking to the views at all. This is going straight to the database and looking at your models. But you would not be able to hit the Django REST framework, the DRF endpoint. This exists because we've created the views for it.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Delete. We could utilize the already established select Pokemon view. Why would I want to use the selected Pokemon view for a delete request? Joe.
So you're actually selecting a Pokemon, you're not just gonna delete everything by mistake or something?
Right. I got an ID here. So I would expect when you send me a delete request, you're going to say, hey, hit this endpoint, send me the delete method, give me an ID so I know who to delete, right? Let's look at that view. Cisco, run me through this function right quick. I'm in the views. I'm in select Pokemon. I'm in the delete function. You don't get to cheat and read these.
Well, it's basically you taking the Pokemon and getting the Pokemon by its ID, and then you're now the name. That's weird. Pokemon name, Pokemon delete. You do not, let me see, you do not need well, I guess you do. Oh, I see. So Pokemon name, you're using that to just return the message that the Pokemon was deleted by its name. But yeah, so then you're just doing the Pokemon delete function and you're saying, okay, yeah, this Pokemon Pikachu was deleted.
Okay. And I know you saw it, or at least I believe you saw it. Why can't I just do that?
Yeah, you can do that, I guess, huh?
Can I do that?
Uh, no, actually you can't do that, can you? Pokemon name.
I mean, it's just
Yeah,
defined right here. Why can't I get it here?
yeah, yeah, I guess you could.
What's happened between invoking it here and invoking it here?
Pokemon delete. Ah, so it's not gonna be, yeah, Pokemon.name it's gonna be it's gonna be empty
Yeah,
because it
it's
doesn't know what
gone.
the name is. Yeah, it's gone now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Just want to make sure we track that because I saw this as well. And I was like, that's stupid. Art, what's up?
Why do we need to delete it by name? Why can't we just delete it by the ID we just pulled out?
We did.
he did. Yeah. That's just there for It's just there for sugar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can kill this and I can say, shut up, right? This will still work.
That would be a great app if you just had that.
We've got we got the Pokemon based off of the ID. Then we deleted it, and we're good. We don't have to do anything. But because we want to be helpful, we're going to respond with, "Hey, this is what I deleted." If you want to be real helpful, you could probably go even further with it and actually JSONify the whole thing. But that's usually not how we handle deletes. A user doesn't need to see, hey, this was the entire output of that Pokemon. It's all gone now. Don't worry about it. Like you can just say, like, yeah, I deleted it. It's good. What we don't really have here is error handling, and we'll get to that at a later date. But this is just assuming the delete worked.
Oh, don't forget to change your Pokemon underscore name back at the
Yeah,
response.
you're right. I'm curious if it actually does stick around. Let's give it a shot. Art, is your hand still up or did I not clear it? Okay, sweet. So, the delete request. Does this go by the name? Oh. Oh, that's right. Why does this work? Dang, that's complicating it. Let me real quick prove something to y'all. We got an ID here. I'm going to go delete ID number 10. Send it. Delete it. Geodude was deleted. Cool. We got a million Geodudes in here because Jordan loaded it up. If I send it again, I should expect an issue.
Right.
If I just keep deleting Geodudes, though, yeah, there's multiple. I broke this app, which is fine. But the problem here, I don't love this, by the way, y'all. In fact, I don't want to get too into it because I think it overcomplicates things. It's a little much for y'all. But this URL takes a string or an integer,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's going to go search it by that thing. Is trying to get the Pokemon by an ID. It's either going to use that ID or it's going to use the name, and it's going to be able to track it no matter what. So it's a pretty bulletproof endpoint. It's going to delete something. I don't love deletes that are yeah, I'll delete it. Screw it. Like, give me whatever. That's why that worked.
Mm-hmm.
But let's assume I use, the right. Let me explain. So somewhere in here, I've got a Geodude, probably ID 12. Send, delete. There's no 12. Is there an 8? There she is. Adam, round 2. I fired off this request, and a Geodude was deleted. How did it work?
Well, it looked at your URLs page and it's connected through that in the product,
Okay.
not the Pokemon app, like I said before.
Yep. So this one right here. Okay.
Yep.
And that is, and I know you know, but I want you to just walk. The more we talk about it, the better it is. So this sends me to a different URLs page, right? Which one?
That sends you to the Pokemon app and its URLs.
Excellent. So we're in Pokemon app. I'm in URLs. Okay, forget that old one. I'm surprised they didn't break anything. So did it go to this path or did it go to this path?
It went to the top path, didn't it?
Oh, I don't know. Let's look at our URL. Let's get this 8 on here. So I went to the Pokemon endpoint, but did I do nothing? Or did I do an integer or a string?
It's the bottom one because I mean it's a specific selected Pokemon.
Right. Only just simply by the virtue of it having an argument at the end and it being an integer or a string, it matched to the other URL. So good. I did that. That tells me to go to the view of selected Pokemon, right? So sends me to views. I got 2 views here. All Pokemon? Nope. Select Pokemon? Yep. Now what? How does it know which function to hit? What are the pieces of my command, or sorry, my request? We got a URL. Don't really have a body. Don't need one. What else did I send it? It's
That's
in
an easy one.
red letters.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't following delete request.
Yeah, I sent it the delete method. So I said, go to this URL, bring a delete request. This is like going to my address, right? And this is like showing up to my door with a gun. This would be knocking on my door. This would be delivering a package. This would be showing up with a gun, basically, right? You can show up to the door any way you want to, but what you bring with it and the way you're coming to the door is very important. And that's how we're going to navigate from there. So because it was delete method, wasn't this one, wasn't put, sure wasn't get, it deleted. So that ID, this is a little bit trickier. How did it know which Pokemon to delete?
You're assigning the ID right there.
Uh-huh. What's that ID coming from? Where did it get that?
That has to be from the Pokemon models, doesn't it?
Well, that's what it maps to, but how did my request tell it what ID I wanted to delete? Let's look at our request again. See that 8 there? So because I said delete ID number 8, when it hits the URL, it's going to say, by virtue of basically whatever comes next, if it's an integer or a string, I'm calling it ID. I could call it foobar if I wanted. And I could say, yeah, just go get foobar. But I'm calling it ID. And it knows that because it showed up to this proper address and it extrapolates this. It must be the ID you're talking about. Endpoints are stupid, right? It just knows you showed up to API v1 Pokemon something. Something must be ID. I could give it whatever the hell it wants. I could do anything, foobar to whatever. And then in views, I could probably break this. Like that. Let's hit this and find out. Let's see if testing stuff on the fly gets us in trouble. Did I not do this right? Did I screw this up?
Break it real good.
Uh, Did I not change the right thing? Where did that go? Did I not save that?
Foo bar 2.
There we go. Let's try it again. It still not work? Oh, because I misspelled the dadgum word. One more time. I wonder why this is not working the way I want it to. But I'm kind of running it may not like that. The point of all this was don't test things for the first time in front of your class. And it's being told ID is this. Django might be a little bit less flexible these days than it used to be. This all needs to be ID. But what I want to show you, also changing endpoints off the bat might be a little difficult for it. Oh, there it is right there.
You're deleting all your Pokemon.
See in my output here, here's my ID. ID is 4. That's how it knew which Pokemon to get, and that's based off my URL. It says whatever that is, that's ID. Yes, art.
You know, some of the issues that I encounter, I believe are because Django is like cache and stuff. And so like I feel like I need to keep when I make a change, I need to go clear it out, or it's like keeping that old change in there somewhere. Um,
Yeah, you can get in some weird spots. I'm editing a function that's generally okay. What I think it doesn't like is me adjusting this on the fly. I don't want to sit here and fiddle with it and break it, but I encourage y'all to do that. Uh, as long as this server's running, it kind of already learned these endpoints, and I can't just add a new endpoint on the fly, I think is what it's having. It's like, well, what do I do with the old endpoint? What do I do with the, I need to establish a new, the server's already running. It's already in a known state. URL is very much part of the server. Random functions that are triggered by it, seems to pick these up. If things aren't looking right, Control C, run it again. No problem. But things can happen with servers like this. Django's not always going to be very developer friendly if you're working on stuff on the fly. Here's a test. It tests it. It creates Pokemon, reverse searches it, loads it, deletes it, or sorry, deletes it from here. It calls test 7, which creates a Pokemon, which is here, and then it deletes that Pokemon. I'm not too interested. I
Oh,
want y'all to know how
Jordan,
to do it. What's up?
Jordan, your test, the assert equals doesn't work. It's got to change it to a singular assert equal other than equals.
I'm surprised that didn't get fixed on this one because that was a thing last cohort, and I thought we caught all those. You know, the problem is my problem with this lecture is the way we identify the different points of class is branches. So if something changes, you know, like the name of the org, you got to go fix it on every stinking branch. Every stinking branch is basically its own repo. You can't just fix it in one place and update all the branches. It's not how branches work. So this is a very short-sighted solution here.
Now, are those, is that link locked? Because when I clicked on it, I couldn't see anything. That application link. Because yeah, it wouldn't show up for me. I noticed a lot of those aren't showing up. When you click on them, they just go to a dead 404.
Hopefully I've fixed all of that. Have you tried it today? Shouldn't be happening
I
that
haven't
shouldn't be
tried it
working that way
today.
today. Yeah, what Jordan did is he updated the org name and then ran some bad regex that didn't capture it all. So some of our links were pointing at the old org.
Let's see.
I still can't get to that link.
You click this here?
Yep, same.
Yes, it gives me a 404.
What's
Being
your
a
URL say?
It says shut up.
It, Six.
That
Yo,
was a
came
good
full
one.
circle.
That was a good. That was a good one, Joe. You could help yourself.
Yeah.
Are y'all not added to this? Are y'all not
We are
able to see
not.
the
We are
branches?
denied.
All right.